So, my name's Sue Paterson and I'm part of Deeside CAN, and I'm going to talk to you about who we are and what we do. And Adam has asked me to highlight some takeaways, and I'm going to do that as well. Next slide, please. Oops. Yeah, so who are we? Deeside CAN. CAN stands for Climate Action Network, but it also, most importantly and especially for us, stands for care and nurture, for the people around us, for the environment and for the planet. We started in January 2019. I gave a talk at Banbury West Church. Lots of people turned up. There was so much energy in the room that a group of us decided to get together and do something about it. And in March 2019, we kicked off Deeside CAN. Next slide, please. So, who are we? We're a group of people. We live in mid-Deeside, Banbury, Crathis and Torfins, and we are all passionate about these four things: minimising climate change, decreasing biodiversity loss, reducing waste, and increasing our community's resilience. So at the moment we have a core team of about 15 who more or less or more, come to our fortnightly meetings. We have a mailing list of over 250 and about 1,100 people on Facebook. Next slide, please. So what do we do? What do we hope to achieve? We want to raise awareness, not just amongst residents, but amongst businesses too. Actually, most people now know about the climate and nature crises. It's in the papers all the time. So really what we want to do is help people to know what to do about it. That's what they don't know. We also want to help our politicians to understand it and to act, because we think that change comes at policy level. And finally, we want to help local and independent businesses to prosper and thrive, because we think that resilience is all about local community wealth building. Next slide, please. So, how do we achieve this? Those are the 6 areas that we focus on, and I am going to rattle through them. I'm not expecting you to remember all of the stuff we're doing, but it's just to give you a flavour of what we're about. But this is the takeaway: go where the energy is. If something's not working or it's a bit of a hassle, don't bother, stop it. And where there is energy, be as open as you can possibly be. Get any wild idea. If somebody's got the energy to do it, it will happen. Don't feel guilty. We're all volunteers and we're doing our best. Don't feel guilty. Enjoy what you're doing. Then your enjoyment and your enthusiasm will make things happen and will spread the word. So I'm going to share some examples, and if some of those ring a bell with you, brilliant, come and talk to me. And if you think we can help us, if you think you can help us, come and talk to us, because I think working together we can make much more of an impact. It's not just about us, it's about all of us. So I'm going to rattle through those, okay? First, raise awareness. We all do this. We host talks and workshops. We mainly focus on the public, but actually right now we're going into schools and youth groups like Cub Scouts and Guides. And the main topics we're talking about there are biodiversity, and we're using the We Forest for that. I'll talk about that in a minute. And waste. So that's that. We have the Facebook page. I'm an old lady, I'm running it. It's not that great, but it'll do. We've got a website, and we're just about to revamp it to make it a bit more, user-friendly and attractive. And we've got a quarterly newsletter. So if you want our newsletter, send us an email and I'll sign you up. Next, carbon footprint. So we've run several carbon footprints, some face-to-face, some online, and the aim is to help people understand 2 things: what goes into their carbon footprint. Everybody's carbon footprint is different. You might travel a lot more, you might waste a lot more, you might buy a lot more. It's all different. But it's also to help people understand how they can reduce their carbon footprint. So how to make changes to the way they travel, the way they heat their homes, the food they eat, lifestyle. These on the right are some examples of food. So eat more plants, seasonal food, local food, leftovers. Eat less meat, dairy, flown food, processed food. And here's some food prints. I really like that, food prints. by diet type, and the red here, which are the big ones, are beef and lamb. So that's just an example. And we say, this is amazing, all of us have to reduce our carbon footprint by 80% by 2030 if we're to get to net zero by 2045. That's a big deal. Okay, next please. So this is one of 3 slides. So you can tell there's quite a lot of energy in this area, reducing biodiversity loss. The first slide is about the Wildlife Friendly Village project. This was set up by a lady in Suffolk called Sophie Flux, and we saw her on Countryfile, and we thought, that's a good idea, we want to do that. So it's a joint project with the other gardening groups in Banchory, Belfield Rose Garden and Bonnie Banchory, and we've identified about 20 bits of public land across Banchory, and that map shows you just some of them. And we're trying to make those little bits of public land a bit more wildlife friendly. And what we'd love to do is have 20% of all public and private land, so your garden as well, set aside for wildlife. That's not to say it's just an untidy garden. You're actually giving nature a helping hand. So you've heard of No Mow May. That's all about a wildlife friendly environment. So what we do, we've got wildflowers, here's an example. Fruit trees, apples are great. We install bird boxes, here's an example, bat boxes, bug hotels, hedgehog boxes, and amphibian ladders in road drains, which I had never heard of before. But that's apparently very helpful to the toads who get stuck. Okay, next slide please. So the second one is we've held an open wildlife gardens day, where we showcase gardens that encourage biodiversity and wildlife. And here's some examples of people's actual gardens. And the next one we're holding is on the 10th of June. Next slide, please. So the third one is our wee forest. I'm often asked, what is a wee forest? It's about the size of a tennis court. It's very densely planted, it grows fast, it's all native trees, and it's very importantly owned and looked after by the community. And I'm just thrilled to say that last month we planted 480 trees on 23 different native species by over 100 people in 2 hours. In the centre of Banchory, that picture at the top is us doing that. Lots of children got involved, it was brilliant. That's a picture of the wee forest itself, and then here we have a deer fence around the forest. And on the deer fence we put all these flags, and actually the flags are all, we've got about 300 at the moment. Flags have been made by children at school, and on the flags is illustration of the bugs and the birds that will live in those trees. So the purpose is not just climate change, it's obviously small, it's a little bit biodiversity, it's a little bit, the biggest point is about education. So we've got lots of people coming to visit the wee forest, we've got an education thing, we've got children coming to plant trees and hopefully learn how to look after them. Next slide. Minimise waste. There's 4 slides on this, so there's even more energy for waste, amazingly. We've set up a zero waste Deeside project. It's a joint project with number 1. This slide is about food waste. We have a paid coordinator. That has made all the difference. She's not a volunteer, she's paid. We're going to run out of money soon. We don't know what to do next, but we're going to try and keep her going because this is where the energy is. It's amazing what she's done. Team of over 30 volunteers. So for the food waste project, we have these volunteers pick up food from surplus food from supermarkets, and they give it away for free the next morning on 3 days a week. Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Saturdays. That's a picture of our community fridge. It's quite interesting. Supermarket waste is reducing at the moment because I think supermarkets are catching on and selling their surplus food. So we're starting to ask for people to drop off their own surplus food from gardens, cupboards, etc., and really get this carrying on going. This is not about food poverty, it's not a food bank, it's about food waste. So anybody is welcome to help themselves. Next slide, please. So this is about recycling. We focused on blister packs, which are those pills packaging. We collected so much, I'm telling you, 2 bin bags a week, that it was too successful, and they were unable to, Superdrug were unable to keep up with the volume. So we're now stepping it up and started a petition to initiate change at government level, because the amount of pill packaging is extraordinary. Next slide, please. This is about plastic. So big focus on schools at the moment to raise awareness of plastic. We've got, these are nationwide things actually, Wrapper Free Wednesday and Plastic Free July. And we're also joining in with the co-op on the Big Green Week at the end of May, where we're going to go into the schools, talk about waste. Actually, it's just two classes in one school. Get them to compete about how little plastic they have in their bins at the end of the week. Take them around the co-op to show them all the plastic packaging, and then get them to write to the co-op to ask them to reduce packaging. Next slide, please. And then this is about upcycling. So this is a joint project with Number One and Magpie. We've got a school tools and skills share Facebook page. We've got 180 members. It's not that active yet, but we reckon in the gardening season a lot of people will be sharing expensive tools they don't want to buy. 2 visibility things we're doing, tools library and a monthly repair cafe, both with Magpie. Next, political engagement. This is Jeff's baby. We are non-aligned, we're apolitical. We engage with all politicians, we'll talk to anybody. To challenge, inform, encourage and press them for better responses to these issues. We had climate hustings before the recent elections, and Jeff has just started a positive action where he's asking all our elected representatives what positive action have they been taking, and we'll shine a spotlight on it. Next, and almost last slide, lots of, this is increasing resilience. Storms, heat waves, wildfires, droughts, floods, we all know it's coming. And we're working to improve the community resilience. And the way we want to do that is through communication. Last time Storm Arwen and Bankery was really badly hit. No one knew what to do, who to contact. So I think we need to have a network of communication in order to increase the resilience, and that's what we're working on. Next slide. This is Al Gore's premise. We really like this. So we want people to use their voices, votes and choices to improve our environment. Next slide. We haven't got any money. We just raise funds for what we're doing. Not for profit, no assets, no constitution, utterly informal. Everybody's welcome. Our main strength is the people who we have, their enthusiasm, their energy. And we're always grateful for any kind of support, people or money, would be great. Next slide. And last slide. I just like this quote. Every bit of warming matters, every year matters, every choice matters. And I think every little bit you do matters. It doesn't matter if it's not right now, if it's a bit late, it's fine. But if we all did a little bit, we would really get there. Next slide and final one. Thank you for listening.